This is Bill North of Florida Weekend Warriors, and in this video we are going to grease the front end of our Ford F53 motorhome chassis. It's a 24,000 pound chassis and it's a 2024. So one of the first things you're going to need is a grease gun. This is a lock and lube one. I really like it because it has a flexible hose, and also it has the thing on the end that catches and attaches to the fitting, so you don't have to hold it on there, and it really makes the job easier. Another thing you're going to need is a tube of high quality grease. I really like this red and tacky wheel bearing grease. It's kind of a general purpose grease. It's not really what Ford recommends, but it'll be good for our purposes here. There's also 3 grease fittings on the drive shaft. Now, depending on how long your coach is, you will have 2 to 3 fittings, and that requires a special grease. So we're not going to be doing that in this video because I really want to use this special heavy duty grease for the universal joints. Another thing you're going to need is some blue rags to clean the fitting off before you attach the grease gun to it, and to clean it after you pull the fitting off. And also, you're going to need a old shirt to wear so that you don't get yelled at by your wife for ruining another shirt. So let's get started. Now, what I like to do whenever I'm going to work on the chassis is to go in the owner's manual and print out this lubrication points from the owner's manual. I think this is on page 124 of my owner's manual. The owner's manual's at Ford.com. You can easily find it online. And what's nice about it, it gives you a little diagram and lists all the 9 grease points. It has the names of them, and it's really helpful to make sure you don't miss any. Another thing you're going to have to do is there's a lot of tension on these kingpin points, so you're going to need to raise. You don't have to get the wheels off the ground, but you need to take the load off. So almost get the wheels off the ground so that the grease will go in to the kingpin. We're back at the RV. I have my old clothes on, and I've got the front jacks down, and I've spread out an old bedspread because I'm climbing on some shell. And you can see, once you put the jacks down, you've got plenty of room under here to work. And you just got to climb under there and get to work. Also, I have my little cheat sheet out here, making sure I don't miss any of the grease fittings. Now, the first thing you want to do is to clean off these grease fittings, because the last thing you want to do is to pump dirt into the steering linkage. So here's the first one right here. These are super easy to find. It's a grease fitting right there. The other one is right here. And then there's one right here. And there's one at the top of the kingpin that you're probably not going to be able to see. Let me see if I can get closer. I can see it. It's right in there. I'll come back to that one after I do these 3. So here this one goes. This was actually pointing towards the rotor, so that's why it was so hard to get on there. So I finally got it on there, so it'll accept grease now. And you can feel it. The grease going in now. But if you get any grease anywhere, you want to make sure that you wipe it off. See how it's coming out right here? See how it's squirting out right there? As soon as you start seeing that squirting out, you know you have enough grease in there. And that one's done. So once you grease the fittings, make sure you get all the old grease off. And if you have spilled it anywhere, like I did right here, just a small amount, but last thing you want is grease end up getting on this rotor. So you'll make sure you get it all off. And if you do get any on the rotor, make sure you have some brake clean to get it off. Now we're going to try the top of the kingpin, because that one's real hard to get to. Now this top one, top of the kingpin, super hard to see. You really can't see it from this side. There's actually, it's just like the bottom one, there's like a 45-degree angle on it. So you have to come from right here, because I'm touching it with my finger. You probably, maybe can't see it through the GoPro, but it's right here. So all I gotta do is hook the grease gun up on here and start pumping. Now this top one was the hardest one to get to. I basically had to climb all the way up in here and use a light so I could get it at the proper angle so the grease would go in. But I finally got it. Now here's the one for the steering box that people typically forget because it's up out of the way, but there's actually a grease fitting on it. It's at the very top here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. It's the very top. So make sure you don't forget that one. Now that we got the steering box greased, all that's left is the 4 on this side. There's one. There's one. There's 2. There's the second one. And the other kingpin on the top. And we're all done. Well, here's another tool you need for the job, a 90-degree adapter. The kingpin, the top fitting on the kingpin on the passenger side is pointing straight up at the snorkel that cools the disc brakes. So you cannot get that grease gun on top of it without using an adapter. I already have one. You slide this over the top of it because that's the only way you can get it on there. And these are kind of temperamental, so I hope I can get the grease to go in. So let's go find out. So you see, that grease fitting is pointing straight up at this snorkel. And I'm sure the snorkel comes off, but I'm gonna see if I can get the, slide it in there and get it on top of it without taking the snorkel off. Well, I got it on there. Let's see if I can get the gun on it and get it to pump grease, because a lot of times the grease just goes all over the place and it won't go in. Well, you can see I had success. I had to push it on there super hard to get it to seat properly, but I was able to get the grease to go in there using this side adapter. And thank God I had it, because I wouldn't have been able to get it. I'm so glad that I printed this printout, because I missed one. I only got 8 of the 9. There's one at the top of the steering box right there. But I felt all around there. I didn't find anything. Let me get a flashlight and see if I can find it. I found it. It was right there. And one of the reasons I couldn't find it is there was a rubber protective boot covering it, so I couldn't see it. So there's my last grease point. No, that one was super hard to see. You can see I got a little bit of grease everywhere, so I just got to put that rubber boot back on. Just a quick recap. Make sure you print out this diagram that shows all your grease fittings. I would have missed at least 1 or 2 of them if I would not have, because they were very hard to find. And also, you may or may not need one of these 90-degree fittings to fit and get to the top kingpin on one of the sides in case that snorkel thing's in the way. And I used way more rags than I thought I was going to, and actually more grease than I thought I was going to use, because I had to go and put in more grease in the middle of the job. So anyways, I hope you like this video. Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you in our next adventure. Florida Weekend Warriors, see ya.